Hiya crafters, Amy here with amyswares, and today's video is all about when things don't go as expected. I have this gorgeous older floral stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. I have a cover plate die from PhotoPlay. I have a smattering of ink pads from Catherine Pooler, and I have some 120-pound cardstock. Now, anything that is still available, I will link it in the video description box below. If you expand and scroll down, you'll find those details. Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you a photo of the finished card to show you the direction that we're headed, but again, it didn't go as I planned. I am just going to use this one color drive-in, and here is the photo. So you can see I have some stamping, some stenciling, some gorgeous blingage. Now to start, I actually stamped this panel twice, and I wanted to do, I don't know if it's called an eclipse technique, I don't remember the name of it, but basically I wanted to use the cover plate die for the one stamped image and layer it over the regular stamped image that wasn't die cut, so you could see the continuation of the design and have that nice texture of the die cut. I was going to use 2 layers of the die cut just to really kind of give it some dimension, but after I go through all this trouble trying to poke out these little bits, I decided it didn't even end up looking great. So that was my first issue here that I had to course correct. I think I needed a bigger or a die cut with bigger openings, like bigger windows or something, to kind of get this effect. This just really looked busy and not great, so I abandoned it and kind of just set that die cut piece aside. So I'm going to use the one that's just stamped regular in this drive-in ink, and I'm going to die cut the panel down with this stitched edge rectangle die from Paper Rose. I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. I have some mint tape to hold it down, and then basically I'm just going to go a completely different route with my design. So if it doesn't go as planned, just figure out a way that you can use other items from your crafty stash and course correct and figure out a new plan for your card. So now I have this gorgeous panel, but it's a little bit too bland. So I have this beautiful flower mosaic. This is an older stencil from the shop at A Colorful Life Designs, and I decided to use this to add some more interest onto this otherwise plain card. Now, you're probably wondering what I'm doing here. I have some of that kind of shelf liner stuff that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I have a turntable for cake decorating, and I have my 8x10 gel press here. Now, I'm trying to mimic a setup that my friend Ardith has. She has one of those, I think it's We Are Memory Keepers turntables, and she has what I believe is one of the Altenew sticky mats kind of stuck down to it, and this is her way of kind of holding down stencils and being able to rotate it. And I just wanted to use stuff that I had in my stash to see if I like that. Now usually I use my magnetic craft surface, which works great, but I wanted to see with some things I already had in my stash if I liked this kind of rotating setup. This is a way to kind of double duty things that you have in your house. If you have a gel press, I don't use my gel press enough, so I feel like using it to hold down my project is another way to kind of get more use out of it. Now, I have a turntable for cake decorating because in a past life, I used to be a cake decorator. I still do it from time to time, so I have this turntable in my kitchen, and I thought I would bust it out and kind of stick my 8x10 gel press down to it and see if it worked. And it did. I know the gel press will hold down my stencil. It does kind of overhang, so I would probably want to get a bigger turntable or a different size sticky mat or something like that. But again, I just wanted to see if I liked this sort of setup. Now here are Tailored Expressions storage boxes. These are absolutely brilliant. I love them. But inside are actually Ellen Hudson stamps. Now you may know she has retired, but she does still have an Amazon storefront, so I will link these stamps if they're still available. But I'm going to pick out a couple for my card. You're probably wondering what all the white ones are. They're actually white heat embossed on white cardstock, and here you can see the magic. You can custom color and have it be a perfect match for your project. I started off with just some simple ink blending, but realized it wasn't saturated enough, so I just pounced the ink pad directly on it, again with my gel plate, firmly holding these in place. So it's a nice way to kind of just hold it down so I can finish this technique. Now I'm just wiping off the gel press with my stamp chamois, and then I'm going to set this whole shebang aside. But first, I decide to open a card base making sure that's dry. And then I'm going to continue the design with the stenciling, just with some residual ink on the inside, just to kind of continue that design on the inside of the card. Now I have these two sentiments ready to go with a perfect match. Just going to put the protective covering back on my gel plate and set all that aside. So now I just basically need to compile all the components. I have this 2-inch foam tape from scrapbook.com that I'm steady working through, and I'm going to put 2 generous pieces of that on the panel just to pop it up and give it some dimension on the front of the card base. So I'm going to remove that backer and center that on the card base, and then I just basically need to liquid glue the sentiments down and finish off the card. Now I did decide to give Barely Arts another chance. I've been using it for years. It was great, but the bottle I had was just so infuriating and it kept clumping up on me. But I loved it so much. I love the consistency of the glue that I decided to give it another chance. So I do have that artist glue from scrapbook.com, which is good. However, it's thicker, so it makes it harder to squeeze through the fine tip. And I did find some fatigue trying to do that. And the little dollops that I would put down for my bling were kind of troublesome sometimes. So I changed the tip of that to the tip that it came with, and I'll use it when I need to lay down maybe more glue. So I'm still going to use it, but I am giving my Barely Arts another try because it is just my favorite in terms of the consistency. Now here is my gorgeous container full of card bling from A Colorful Life Designs. You guys know I'm obsessed with this. I love having all the colors to choose from and finding what one works best for my project. In this one, I ended up deciding to go with a metallic silver. I felt like it was a nice shiny contrast to the otherwise monochromatic design. These are little confetti blingage that you can put on your card projects, and I put them down with that liquid glue and a smattering on the front of the card, 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And I did just liquid glue the sentiments down flush, so there's no additional dimension on those. Now here I have basically the Michaels equivalent of stickles. I just wanted to add a little something extra. This is a really pretty iridescent glitter. I'm not going super thick, it's kind of thin, and it was kind of clogged up, so I did have to use my needle to unclog that bottle. And I'm using that backer from the foam tape just to kind of allow me to spread this around. I'm just using the tip of the bottle just to kind of put it down on a few of the blooms, and that's going to finish the design. So if things don't go as planned, if your design doesn't come to fruition, just keep working with it. Figure out what else you have in your crafty stash to kind of turn it around. I'm so pleased with how this turned out. I love it with the stenciling, even though it wasn't what I intended when I started on this project. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you found this helpful, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you do check out A Colorful Life Designs, don't forget my coupon AmyFan10, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.